My husband and I have always been best friends. From the very start, our connection was unlike anything I had ever experienced. We first met at a club, a place I never thought I'd meet someone I could share my life with. I'll admit, I was hesitant at first. Meeting someone in such a setting didn't seem like the start of a serious relationship. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, it became clear that there was something extraordinary between us. We hit it off instantly, as if we had known each other in another life. It wasn't just about attraction, there was a genuine connection. We could spend hours talking about everything and nothing at the same time. He had this way of making me laugh, of turning even the dullest moments into something special. Whether we were joking about something silly or diving into deep, meaningful conversations, it always felt easy and natural. What stood out most was how similar we were. We enjoyed the same movies and would stay up late rewatching our favorites, quoting lines and laughing until our sides hurt. We had the same taste in music, often finding ourselves lost in the rhythm, dancing like no one was watching. Even our sense of humor matched perfectly. He always knew how to make me smile, even on my worst days. In those early days, I couldn't help but question if this was too good to be true. I mean, how could someone I met in a club turn out to be so perfect for me? But as time passed, my doubts began to fade. He showed me time and again that he was thoughtful, caring, and genuinely interested in building something meaningful. He didn't just see me as a girlfriend or a partner, he treated me like his best friend. He listened to my dreams, encouraged me when I felt unsure, and celebrated every little achievement as if it were the biggest thing in the world. Being with him felt like home, a place where I could be myself without fear of judgment. Even though I had hesitations about where we had met, our bond grew stronger with each passing day. It wasn't about where we started, it was about the journey we were on together. He became my confidant, my cheerleader, and the person I could turn to no matter what. From the very beginning, there was a sense of destiny between us, as if the universe had orchestrated our meeting. Looking back now, I can't imagine my life without him. What started as a chance encounter blossomed into a love story I never saw coming, one that continues to grow and deepen with each passing moment. One of the best things about us was how open we were. There were no secrets, no judgments. We could talk about anything, no matter how silly, serious, or strange it seemed. I remember our first date like it was yesterday. We sat in a small cafe, sharing stories about our dreams, our fears, and even the weird habits we had as kids. He told me about how he used to collect rocks, and I shared how I once tried to keep a stray cat as a secret pet in my room. We laughed until our sides hurt, and from that day, I knew he was someone I could trust with my heart. As we grew closer, we also learned to trust each other in deeper ways. We became partners in every sense, supporting each other through tough days, celebrating the good ones, and sharing dreams for the future. But what really made our relationship unique was how adventurous we were together. We didn't shy away from trying new things, whether it was going on an unexpected road trip, learning a new recipe, or even stepping out of our comfort zones in the bedroom. I had always thought we were on the same page, especially when it came to our bedroom adventures. We had a way of connecting that felt natural, effortless, and honest. When it came to exploring new things in the bedroom, we were always on the same page. There was no fear, no awkwardness, just trust and a shared desire to make each other happy. From the very start, we had agreed to be open about our desires. If something excited one of us, we talked about it. If something didn't feel right, we talked about that too. It was this openness that made our relationship feel so special and unshakable. Over time, I had learned what made him smile, what gave him that spark in his eyes, and what made him feel most loved. It wasn't just about the physical side of things, it was about the emotional connection we built along the way. I loved discovering the little things that brought him joy, the small details that made him feel wanted and cared for. Whether it was a certain way I touched him, the words I whispered to him, or the way I dressed up for him on special nights, I always did my best to show him how much he meant to me. He, too, was always attentive to my needs. He knew how to make me feel special in ways that went beyond words. He would run his fingers through my hair when I was tired, bring me my favorite snack when I was working late, and always hold me close at the end of the day. In the moments when we were together, he made sure I felt completely loved, completely seen, and completely safe. Our intimate moments were never rushed or forced. They were filled with laughter, whispers, and a deep connection that reminded me of why I fell in love with him in the first place. He had a way of making me feel like I was the only woman in the world, like nothing else mattered except the time we spent together. This balance between us, his effort to make me feel cherished and my effort to make him feel desired, was something I never took for granted. It wasn't just about keeping the spark alive, it was about showing each other, in every way possible, that our love was worth nurturing. We didn't have to be perfect, we just had to be present for each other. And that's exactly what we did. We listened, we learned, and we grew together. It was this mutual care and respect that kept our relationship strong and our love deeper than I ever thought possible. That night, everything felt perfect, as it often did when we were together. We were lying in bed, wrapped in the kind of peace that only comes from years of love and understanding. The soft light from the nightstand lamp cast a warm, golden glow across the room, highlighting the gentle movements of the curtains as the night breeze drifted in through the slightly open window. Outside, the world was quiet, leaving just the sound of our steady breaths and the faint hum of crickets in the distance. His arm was draped over me, pulling me closer, and I felt the familiar comfort of his touch. There was something about the way he held me that made me feel safe, like nothing in the world could ever come between us. We fit together so naturally, our bodies moving in sync, guided by the deep bond we shared. He kissed me then, a kiss so tender and deep that it sent shivers down my spine. His hands, warm and strong, traced gentle lines across my skin, igniting that familiar spark that always made my heart race. I melted into his embrace, letting myself be completely lost in the moment. His touch, his scent, the rhythm of his breathing, it all felt like home, like everything I had ever wanted. But just as I thought I knew what to expect, he pulled back slightly, his lips brushing against mine as he whispered something. His voice was soft, almost hesitant, but the words he spoke sent a jolt of surprise through me. It wasn't just the words themselves, but the way he said them, his tone carrying a mix of curiosity, vulnerability, and an eagerness I hadn't quite heard before. I blinked, trying to process what he had just said, my mind racing even as I stayed perfectly still. The calm of the room now felt charged, like the air itself was holding its breath, waiting for what would come next. I looked into his eyes, searching for an explanation, and what I saw there made my heart ache and swell at the same time. He wasn't demanding or impatient. Instead, there was a gentleness, a quiet hopefulness, and, most of all, trust. He trusted me enough to share this moment with me, to be honest about what he wanted. My emotions were a whirlwind, part surprise, part uncertainty, and part a deeper understanding of the man I had chosen to spend my life with. It was a side of him I hadn't seen before, a moment that reminded me of just how much we still had to learn about each other, even after all these years. "I want to try something different tonight," he said softly, his voice carrying that familiar tone of excitement and curiosity. It was the same tone he used whenever he had an idea he couldn't wait to share. His eyes locked onto mine, filled with a mix of affection and desire, and for a moment, I felt a flutter of anticipation. I smiled, curious about what he had in mind. Over the years, we had built a relationship based on trust and openness, so this wasn't the first time he had suggested trying something new. It was part of what made our connection so special. We were always exploring and learning together. I nodded, encouraging him to continue, fully expecting him to suggest something playful or adventurous, but nothing too far out of the ordinary. But then, he said it. His words hung in the air like a sudden chill, catching me completely off guard. I froze for a moment, unsure of how to respond. It wasn't that I didn't trust him or that I wasn't open to new experiences, but what he suggested was something I hadn't prepared myself for. "I want to release it in your mouth," he said, his voice low and steady, yet filled with a mix of desire and hesitation. His words caught me completely off guard. I froze for a moment, unsure if I had heard him correctly. My eyes widened slightly as I searched his face for an explanation, trying to understand if he was serious or just testing my reaction. The room, which had felt so warm and familiar just moments ago, suddenly seemed to hold a different kind of tension. My mind was racing, trying to process what he had just said. We had shared so many intimate moments together, and we were always open about our feelings and desires. But this was something I hadn't expected. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my expression neutral. His eyes met mine, and I could see vulnerability there, layered beneath his words. It wasn't just a bold request, it was him sharing a deep, personal desire with me, trusting that I wouldn't judge him for it. That realization softened me, even as I felt a swirl of emotions bubbling to the surface. "Why?" I asked gently, my voice quieter than I intended. I wasn't upset or angry, I just needed to understand. I wanted to hear what this meant to him, why he was bringing it up now, and how he thought it might bring us closer. He shifted slightly, his hand resting on mine as he began to explain. His words came slowly, carefully, as though he was trying to find the right way to express himself. He talked about trust, about wanting to feel even more connected, and about how much it meant to him to be able to share this part of himself with me. As he spoke, I realized this wasn't just a physical request. It was about our bond, about exploring new ways to be vulnerable and open with each other. That thought gave me pause. Was I ready for this? Could I push past my initial discomfort to meet him in this moment of honesty? I didn't have an immediate answer, but I knew one thing for sure: I loved him. I loved the way he trusted me, the way he always made me feel safe and cherished, and the way he was willing to share even the most intimate parts of himself with me. Taking a deep breath, I reached out to touch his face, letting my fingers trace the lines of his jaw. "I need some time to think about this," I said softly. "I'm not saying no, but I just need to process it." He nodded, his expression gentle and understanding. There was no frustration or impatience, only a quiet acceptance that reminded me why I had fallen in love with him in the first place. He leaned forward, pressing a tender kiss to my forehead, and pulled me into his arms. As I rested my head against his chest, I realized that moments like this were what made our relationship so strong. It wasn't about always saying yes or agreeing on everything. It was about listening, understanding, and respecting each other's boundaries while continuing to grow together. Even though I wasn't ready to give him an answer yet, I knew we would figure it out, just like we always did. We spent the rest of the night in each other's arms, wrapped in a warmth that only we could share as husband and wife. The world outside faded away, leaving just the two of us in the quiet intimacy of our room. His arms held me securely, and I rested my head against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. It was a sound that had become my comfort over the years, a reminder of the life we had built together. The gentle glow of the night lamp cast soft shadows on the walls, and the faint scent of his cologne lingered in the air. I felt his hand lightly stroke my back, a soothing gesture that made me feel safe and cherished. We didn't need words in that moment, our silence spoke volumes. I thought about everything that had happened, about the trust and vulnerability we had shared. It wasn't just about that night, it was about all the nights before it and all the ones still to come. He had always been my partner in every sense of the word, someone who lifted me up, supported me, and loved me unconditionally. As the hours passed, our breathing slowed, matching the calm rhythm of the night. His fingers intertwined with mine, a simple gesture that said, "I'm here, and I always will be." I couldn't help but smile, feeling a wave of gratitude for the bond we shared. Eventually, sleep began to take over, but even as my eyes grew heavy, I held on to him, not wanting to let go. In his arms, I felt like I belonged, like no matter what challenges or surprises came our way, we would face them together. The night was still and peaceful, and I knew that as long as we had each other, we could weather anything. Wrapped in his embrace, I drifted off, feeling more connected to him than ever before. The next night came, and as the evening unfolded, I found myself feeling a mixture of nervousness and curiosity. My husband and I had always been open about trying new things, but this was different. It was a step I wasn't entirely sure about. Yet, deep down, I trusted him completely and wanted to meet him halfway in this new experience. We had dinner together, laughing over silly jokes and sharing stories about our day. He had no idea how much I had been thinking about our conversation the night before, replaying his words and my feelings over and over. As the night grew quieter, I felt my heart racing. When we finally made our way to the bedroom, the atmosphere felt different, calm, yet charged with anticipation. He held me close, his touch gentle and reassuring. He didn't rush or pressure me, instead, he let the moment unfold naturally. As we became more intimate, I felt a surprising sense of ease wash over me. His tenderness reminded me why I loved him so much, why I had chosen him as my partner for life. When the moment came, I decided to take a small step forward, not quite what he had asked for the night before, but something I felt comfortable with. I let him release it on my face instead. I could see the excitement and happiness in his eyes, the way his lips curved into a smile as he looked at me. It was clear that this meant something to him, not just physically but emotionally. He reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair from my face, his expression full of gratitude and love. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice soft and filled with emotion. In that moment, I realized this wasn't just about trying something new. It was about trust, about meeting each other halfway, and about deepening the bond we shared. As unconventional as it might have seemed, it was a reminder of how much we cared for each other and were willing to grow together. Afterward, he held me in his arms, his warmth surrounding me like a protective shield. We talked quietly, sharing our feelings and thoughts. He told me how much he appreciated my willingness to trust him, and I shared how important it was for me to feel comfortable and respected in our journey together. That night wasn't just another moment in our marriage, it was a testament to the strength of our connection. It showed me that love isn't just about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about trust, communication, and the willingness to navigate life's complexities together. As I drifted off to sleep in his arms after washing my face, a deep sense of peace settled over me. The warmth of his embrace, the steady rise and fall of his chest against my cheek, and the quiet hum of his breathing all reminded me of how lucky I was to have him in my life. In that moment, everything else faded away, the worries of the day, the uncertainties of the future. All that mattered was the bond we shared. I felt closer to him than ever before, not just physically but emotionally. What we had wasn't perfect, it had its ups and downs like any marriage, but it was real, built on trust, love, and the willingness to grow together. That night had been a reminder of how far we'd come, from two strangers who met by chance to partners who understood each other's hearts so deeply. His hand rested gently on my back, a small but comforting gesture that said, "I'm here. I'll always be here." I thought about all the times he had been my rock, my cheerleader, and my safe space. I thought about the laughter we had shared, the challenges we had overcome, and the dreams we were still chasing together. No matter what life threw our way, I knew we would face it side by side. Our love wasn't just about the big moments, it was in the little things, like the way he looked at me, the way he listened, and the way he made me feel like I was the most important person in his world. As sleep began to take over, I whispered a silent prayer of gratitude for the life we had built and the man I got to share it with. In his arms, I felt safe. I felt cherished. And most of all, I felt certain that our love would continue to guide us through whatever the future held. In the end, that's what made our relationship so special. It wasn't just a marriage, it was a partnership, a union rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and a deep, unwavering bond. And as I drifted into dreams, I knew that no matter what, we would always have each other.